Called the organization now spreading terror across the Middle East.
Is it ISIS or ISIL? There are numerous names for that group. It's the subject of this week's Good Question Report with Pat Taney. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, a woman who wishes to remain anonymous called me about this. Take a listen.
Here's a good question. Which is it, ISIS or ISIL?
Great question. So what's in a name? Believe it or not, a lot.
As a city scarred by terrorist attacks claimed by ISIS.
The motivation for that plan was for the defendant to join ISIL.
So it's Daesh or Daesh or?
It's Daesh.
Daesh.
I use the word ISIS. I think that's the common word.
Which is it?
This is Bob Gerace.
I've been a Naval Reserve intelligence officer for 27 years.
He also teaches counterterrorism at RIT.
I think the ones that we're going to see the most of, Pat, are ISIS and ISIL.
And it comes down to geography.
ISIS is in Syria. ISIL involves the Levant area in Iraq. So depending on where they are in their operations, I think that becomes a function of whether it's ISIS or ISIL. I think you're still dealing with the same organization.
The feds use ISIL based on direction from Washington. Assistant U.S. Attorney Brett Harvey.
The Secretary of State designated the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant.
Does the government want the public to refer to them any certain way?
I wouldn't try to tell the public how to refer to them, but we do, as government officials, refer to the group as ISIL.
Complicating things, the third name they're called, pronounced Daesh.
It's a derogatory term meaning to suppress somebody underfoot or people who sow discord. They prefer not to have that image.
ISIS, ISIL, Daesh, in the end,
that they're a foreign terrorist organization.
Until we are able to resolve the root causes of the poverty, the failed states, the fractured governments and so forth, we're not going to get to the end of this conflict. By choosing a name isn't going to make a difference.
Well, it does make a difference if you live in one of the territories occupied by the group. Get this, guys. Anyone caught using the word Daesh can have their tongues cut out.
Pat Taney with our Good Question Report. Thank you for that.
And if you have a good question for Pat, just send it to him. You can send it by email, goodquestion@whec.com.